and welcome to Mouse in the Mitten Trivia Pod, a podcast where you can test your Disney trivia knowledge over a variety of topics. My name's Court and I will be your host. Our game will consist of 5 rounds of 6 questions, covering everything from your basic Disney knowledge to some unknown facts. Each question is worth 1 point unless otherwise noted. Make sure you follow us on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mouse in the Mitten. And if you're watching us over on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and in the comments down below, let us know what your score is. Well, we are seeing the rollout of the new Lightning Lane system coming up here very shortly. There are always things moving, always things changing as Disney continues to evolve. If you're someone who needs a little bit of help with that and needs a little bit of guidance on the Disney and everything, the plans and everything else like that, feel free to reach out to me at mouseinthemitten@gmail.com. Would love to get you all taken care of. Well, we blew right past a very special anniversary, and that is the anniversary of the opening of Disneyland. So round one's going to be all dedicated to Disneyland, to the OG park, to the one out in California, to the one that holds a special place in all of our hearts. And even if your favorite park isn't Disneyland, because of Disneyland, your favorite park does exist in your heart. So let's get started here with question number 1. What state is the location of Disneyland? Question number 2. On what TV station did Walt give updates on the park as well as had their opening day show? Question number 3. What park was added next to Disneyland in 2001? Question number 4. During its broadcast of the opening day, Walt's friends were the hosts. Those hosts were Art Lundker, Bob Cummings, and what future president of the United States? Question number 5. What park was Walt visiting with his daughters when he decided he needed a park that kids and adults could enjoy together? And question number 6. From 2005 to 2006, Disneyland celebrated its 50th anniversary and titled their celebration what name? All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. All right, let's give you some answers here on Disneyland. So question number 1. What state is the location of Disneyland? Well, that is California. Kind of gave it away a little bit in the intro there, but it is located in California. That's where the original Walt Disney World Studio or Walt Disney Studios are as well. So it makes sense that is the location of the original park. Question number 2. On what TV station did Walt give updates on the park as well as had their opening day show? Well, that would be ABC. Now, he did have some shows that appeared on NBC as well, but ABC and Disney have kind of gone hand in hand for a very long time. Question number 3. What park was added next to Disneyland in 2001? Well, that was California Adventures. 2001, not the greatest time to open up an amusement park. It floundered for a little bit. Now it's kind of starting to come into its own a little bit and really starting to shine. Question number 4. During its broadcast of the opening day, Walt's friends were the hosts. Those hosts were Art Lundker, Bob Cummings, and what future president of the United States? That would be Ronald Reagan. Yeah, Ronald Reagan was good friends with Walt Disney. They did a lot together way back in the 50s and 60s. I mean, Reagan was an actor for the first part of his career before he got into the political side of things. So it makes sense that those two would go hand in hand. The world of Hollywood is not nearly as big today as it was back in the 50s and 60s. So it makes sense that these two had crossed paths several times back in the day. Question number 5. What park was Walt visiting with his daughters when he decided he needed a park that kids and adults could enjoy together? That would be Griffith Park. He was watching his daughters play on the merry-go-round. He was sitting on a bench. He's like, there should be a place that both the kids could have their fun and the adults could have their fun as well. And that's why he decided to build Disneyland and then subsequently Disney World, and then we continue to see the expansion from there. Last but not least, question number 6. From 2005 until 2006, Disneyland celebrated its 50th anniversary and titled their celebration what name? Well, they titled it The Happiest Homecoming on Earth. I also saw references to it as the happiest celebration on Earth. So if you had said either one of those, give yourself the point. But that was the 50th anniversary in 2005. Obviously, do some math. 1955 was when the park opened. So great history, great memories, and continued to inspire other parks, not just Disney parks, but other parks all around the world. Continuing on now into round number 2. Round number 2 is our fast facts round. For this round, I will be giving you simple questions that have simple answers. Today's category is opening day attractions. For this round, what's going to happen is I'm going to give you the name of an attraction at Disneyland. You just have to simply say yes, that attraction opened the same day that the park opened, or no, that attraction opened after the park's opening date. So let's get started with question number 1. Jungle Cruise. Question number 2. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Question number 3. The Matterhorn. Question number 4. Disneyland Monorail. Question number 5. Peter Pan Flight. And question number 6. Dumbo Flying Elephants. Now, some of these are a little bit time period-esque, but we'll talk about each one of these here a little bit. So question number 1. Jungle Cruise, that one was a yes. Now, originally, Walt wanted to have live animals with this. I'm glad that they went with the animatronics. Much easier to control and maintain the animatronics. Question number 2. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, that one is a yes. Matter of fact, during the opening day, that ride had a lot of issues. Just for the amount of electricity that they were running through the parks, everything else like that. It kept tripping, the circuits, everything else like that. Had a lot of issues, as is now kind of more of a beloved kind of reminisce on some of the OG rides. But again, this is just an example of back in the day, Mr. Toad was huge. Now, very few people even know who he is. Question number 3. The Matterhorn, that one is a no. It opened on June 14, 1959. It was the first steel coaster in Disney. And definitely, if you need a back crack, that's where you go. Question number 4. Disneyland Monorail, that one is also a no. That one opened on June 14, 1959 as well. It was kind of part of that expansion that they had of Disneyland. Walt said that Disneyland is never finished being worked on. They're always adding new things, always adding new items, that sort of stuff. These two are a prime example of that. Question number 5. Peter Pan's Flight, that one is a yes. That one is one of the original rides. Now, since then, obviously been updated many times. They're updating the one in Disney World, which for me makes me cry because we're going to miss that ride. I was really excited to go on that one. Just a good, fun, chill ride. Plus, it's Peter Pan. Who doesn't love the movie Peter Pan? So that one is an original one, and that one definitely sparked a lot of nostalgia these days as well. Last but not least, question number 6. Dumbo Flying Elephants, that one is a no. It opened about a month later, August 16th, 1955. So it opened about a month later. Just wasn't quite ready for opening day, though. They tried. It just was not ready. Now, there are a lot of rides that were available that are still there today, but definitely Disneyland is never done being worked on. Continuing on now into round number 3. Round number 3 is our connecting the circles. For this round, I'm going to give you 5 questions that may or may not be Disney related, but the answers do relate somehow through Disney. And that's going to be your 6th and final question of what is the connection. So let's get started here with question number 1. Where can you find Avengers Campus, Cars Land, San Francisco Square, and Grizzly Park? Question number 2. What city is the location of Princess and the Frog and is the home to Mardi Gras? Question number 3. Polar, brown, Black, and Kodiak are all examples of what kind of animal? Also, koalas are not these kinds of animals. Question number 4. Inspired by Who Framed Roger Rabbit and a set from a Max Fleischer cartoon, where can you find Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway as well as Mickey's house? Question number 5. Big Thunder Ranch and Streets of America were replaced by what? And question number 6 is, what is the connection? I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to connect those circles, and then I will return. All right, let's see if we can connect those circles. So question number 1. Where can you find Avengers Campus, Cars Land, San Francisco Square, and Grizzly Park? Well, that would be in California Adventure. Those are the different lands and the different areas. Now, Cars Land, my favorite. I love cars, so that one's going to be my favorite, though the Grizzly Peak is really, really cool as well. Question number 2. What city is the location of Princess and the Frog and is the home to Mardi Gras? Well, that is New Orleans. Obviously, you have the song down in New Orleans, so that one's New Orleans. Question number 3. Polar, brown, black, and Kodiak are all examples of what kind of animal? Also, koalas are not these kinds of animals. They are all different kinds of bears. You got polar bears, black bears, brown bears, and Kodiak bears as well. Just a huge variety of them. That's just the tip of the iceberg on the variety of different bears, not just here in America, but around the world. Now, koalas are not bears. My wife was watching The Bachelorette this past weekend, and this guy's like, oh, we have some really cute koala bears here. Koalas are not bears. They're marsupials. Get it right. They don't get the sharpest tools in the shed for The Bachelor or Bachelorette, so I guess it kind of goes hand in hand. Question number 4. Inspired by Who Framed Roger Rabbit and a set from a Max Fleischer cartoon, where can you find Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway as well as Mickey's house? That is in Mickey's Toontown. Fun little area. They just added more to it recently, reopened some of it as well. That's where you can also see Pete and Max and Goofy. So cool little area. Last but not least, question number 5. Big Thunder Ranch and Streets of America were replaced by what? They were replaced by Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Obviously, we're talking about Hollywood Studios. That's where they kind of redid everything to get Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in there. Personal opinion, I love it. Makes sense to me. All right, question number 6 is, what is the connection? Well, we had answers such as California Adventure, New Orleans, Bears, Mickey's Toontown, and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Well, the connection there, those are all lands that opened in Disneyland since the park originally opened in 1955. You had California Adventures in 01, New Orleans Square in 1966. You had Bear Country in 1972, which is now Critter Country. You had Mickey's Toontown in 1993, and then Galaxy's Edge in 2019. So again, really goes into what Walt was saying about Disneyland never being finished, and it's definitely added to the parks and made it that much better of an experience overall. Continuing on now into round number 4. Round number 4 is usually dedicated to movie anniversaries, and today we are going to dedicate it to one of those movie anniversaries. Today we're going to talk about The Black Cauldron. Now, this movie in the lexicon of Disney, it's not one of the first movies that comes to people's minds when it comes to feature animation from Disney. But this movie did help to set a precedent that we see reflected in every single movie Disney has put out since this one, including ones that we see today. So let's get started with question number 1. Within 2, what year did The Black Cauldron come out in the US? Question number 2. By far the scariest villain of all time, who was the villain in The Black Cauldron? Question number 3. Name either of the 2 firsts that The Black Cauldron were for Disney animation. Question number 4. What was Turan's job in Prydain? Question number 5. Who is the badger-like creature that Turan meets during his journey and wants to be Turan's friend? And question number 6. During the beginning, when Dalbin uses Henweg's magic to find the Horned King, the first image that appeared in the water was a recycled section from what sequence from Fantasia? All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. All right, let's get you some answers here on the Black Cauldron. So question number 1. Within 2, what year did the Black Cauldron come out in the US? Well, it came out on July 24th, 1985. So in order to get the answer there correct, would have to say between 1983 and 1987. Now, we'll talk about it here in a little bit. Some of the things that they did in the Black Cauldron that they use today, but definitely at the time a little bit groundbreaking for its performance. Question number 2. By far the scariest villain of all time. Who was the villain in the Black Cauldron? That is the Horned King. The way that he looked, what he did, how he acted, everything else like that, definitely makes for one of the scariest villains in all of Disney. Question number 3. Name either the 2 first that the Black Cauldron were for Disney animation. Well, it was the first to receive a PG rating and the first with computer-generated imagery, or CGI. So that's when I talk about how this movie kind of set up other movies, including the movies that we see today. That's because they were the first ones to use CGI. When you watch the movie, you can kind of pick out the parts where you can see CGI, but this is kind of, again, a continuation of what we talked about a few weeks ago with Tron. They started doing a little bit with Tron, started to be able to do some of the computer animations with Tron. This is a continuation of that. And that is something that, again, we see even in today's movies. Plus, it was the first one with a PG rating. I blame the Horned King because he's definitely the reason for it. Question number 4. What was Turan's job in Prydain? He was an assistant pig keeper. He was in charge of Henweg. At the time, he didn't understand why. He did find out why, and definitely made sure that Henweg was safe. Question number 5. Who is the badger-like creature that Turan meets during his journey and wants to be Turan's friend? Well, that is Gurgi. He is probably one of the cutest little creatures you've ever seen. He's weird. Definitely has that 80s haircut going for him, where it's like kind of covering one eye at a time. Kind of a big look in the 80s. I don't know why. It seems like you're impeding your vision a little bit too much, but definitely a very interesting character. And along the Disney list, a little bit weird. Last but not least, question number 6. During the beginning, when Dalbin uses Henweg's magic to find the Horned Frog, the first image that appears in the water was a recycled section from what sequence from Fantasia? That would be The Night on Bald Mountain. When you look at The Night on Bald Mountain and you look at that sequence, you can kind of see the similarities. Similar to what you see with like The Jungle Book and Winnie the Pooh, Seven Dwarfs, and a couple other movies as well. There's some crossover there, and that was common practice in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s for Disney to use some of those recycled images. If you have not seen The Black Cauldron lately, check it out on Disney Plus. It's worth its watch, even if you have to just admire the way that technology has advanced since that point. Wrapping up today's game, round number 5 is titled Dynamic Duos. Each question here is going to have 2 answers, but these 2 answers go hand in hand. Everyone knows these 2. They're oftentimes seen together, and they work together to, most of the time, for common good. So let's get started here with question number 1. Who are the dynamic duo from Hawaii known for their love of Elvis and surfing? Question number 2. Who can help us to learn to live worry-free? Hakuna Matata, if you will. Question number 3. Duo who are trying to take down Jasmine and Aladdin. Question number 4. The two who help Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewie. Question number 5. Be careful how you perform, because these two Muppets will be very honest with you. And question number 6. The two who dance with Snow White, one on the base and one standing on his shoulders. All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, and then I will return to wrap up today's game. All right, let's give you some answers here to these dynamic duos and wrap up today's game. So question number 1. Who are the dynamic duo from Hawaii known for their love of Elvis and surfing? That is Lilo and Stitch. Always working together. Love Elvis. Love surfing. Those two go hand in hand and they're best buds. Question number 2. Who can help us learn to live worry-free? Hakuna Matata, if you will. That is Timon and Pumbaa. It's their motto. Well, what's a motto? Nothing. What's a motto with you? Ha! Okay, moving on. Question number 3. Duo that are trying to take down Jasmine and Aladdin, that is Jafar and Iago. Those two are trying to take down Jasmine and they're trying to take down Aladdin, trying to at one point marry Jasmine so Jafar can have all the power and that sort of stuff. Didn't work out well for him in the end. Sorry, spoiler alert. Question number 4. The two who help Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewie, well, that is R2-D2 and C-3PO. Those two, again, they go hand in hand. They're always together. Seems like they get on each other's nerves from time to time, but they always end up back together and working together towards the common good. Question number 5. Be careful how you perform, because these two Muppets will be very honest with you. That is Statler and Waldorf. You know, they're up in the stands. Just gotta be careful with what you do, because they'll either love it or they'll make fun of you. Last but not least, question number 6. The two who dance with Snow White, one on the base and one standing on his shoulders. That would be Dopey and Sneezy. Those two are a dynamic duo. They want to dance with Snow White. They make it happen, and definitely in a very cool scene from Snow White. And again, that was one in which it was recycled, kind of going back to what we talked about last round with recycled images. That was one that was recycled a couple other times, primarily in Robin Hood. So yeah, there are a lot of dynamic duos in Disney. We might come back to this at some point. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in this week. I will return next Thursday with more questions and more fun. Make sure you're following us on social media at Mouse in the Mitten on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you're watching us over on YouTube, again, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and in the comments down below, let us know what your score is. If you're listening to us on a podcast, make sure you follow us on Apple, download us wherever else you can, and wherever you can, leave a 5-star review. And as mentioned, Disney is rolling out their new lightning lane system here in a little bit, and it can be confusing with all the changes that go on in Disney. If you need a little bit of help or you want someone to help you plan your dream Disney vacation, feel free to email me at mouseinthemitten@gmail.com. We can get you all set up, get you all squared away. Well, hey, my name's Court. The dog's name is Milo. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next time.